Are we together? So that is why, and you see, it's just for 3 days, so to say. That is why it looks as if it's very, very tight. And we are doing our best to make it as easygoing as we can. We know that it's possible for diminishing return to set in. We are aware of that. But you see, we also want to be as cost effective as possible. Are we together? So please try. I don't think you're as tired as myself. I doubt it. I was telling the provost, it took how many okay, I told you here how long it took us to design just that log frame, the debates that was involved in it. We had to speak to senior colleagues in the Department of Nursing Sciences at the university. They had to give approval log frame. And I still had to inform them, look, it's a simulation because we need to have their input at what exactly they do, what their focus look like based on the mission and their mandate. So we had a number of sleepless nights. In fact, the day we arrived, I slept at 2 a.m. before we took off the following day so that we can respond the best way we can. You know, when you are dealing with academics, you better be ready. You know, there are some students in your class, when they want to correct you, especially those of you in physics and mathematics, you thought you have done your best. One of them will just say, excuse me, sir, you see this equation. Now he has seen it in one textbook, not because he knew it. Then you forgot something. And he just says, sir, can you check it again? So you will go back, you will check, you will not even see where. Now, one of the reasons is because you see, sometimes, just like when you write your research paper, which is one of the things I want to talk about now. Let me tell you, it's not enough for you to just read it and pass it. Because you could be reading from your mind, and what is on your paper is not what is on your mind. Did you understand what I've said now? I don't know how many of you have experienced it. This is already in your mind, your brain. So when you are reading your brain, not the paper. It's until somebody else who had nothing to do with the work reads it. They'll say, okay, sorry, did you see this? Say, oh, you mean that this is what's on paper? I say, yes. But when you go there, you read and explained the correct thing, but on paper, that is not what is there. So that's why sometimes we work assiduously. That's why I can tell you that I don't think you're as tired as myself, but it's a task that we have to do since we are colleagues. So just bear with us for the next few moments. We'll soon be done. I'm around. When your money increase now, you will not call me. That is the matter. You will mark my word. This thing we are doing will bring money to you personally. You are going to see, and you will remember. There's no how some of you will not remember that this thing brought money to you personally. You see, this man has just entered now. You see, they pay for quality when you source data, and it's the data he's looking for. When you charge him, he will pay. But when your data is not quality data, you can talk from now till tomorrow. He wouldn't pay you, he would approve your payment. So, quickly, I want to re-emphasize research and development. I will call it R and D. R and D. In terms of best practices, you will not find R and D section in what you are looking at. Yeah? Research and development. Now, the current trend is a function of research. For your teaching to be uh, not just sustained, to meet present demand and future prospects, you must be very strong in research. So that what you are communicating in the classroom must be a result of research, investigations, and it's nonsense sciences. And there are scientific protocols and processes that we need to understand. And then we also need to understand and learn how to treat data, different types of data, primary, secondary, hybrid, and then this monster called AI. Once you give me a document, I don't need to look at it twice to know it's AI, no matter what document you are giving to me. I've emphasized to my students, particularly at the postgraduate level, that listen, for now, learn RI. Why you are still trying to work with AI? What is RI? Real intelligence. Real, real human intelligence. When you become too AI dependent, you will run into trouble one day because AI can tell you a lie. And I've seen many lies from AI. Now, what they will warn you about AI, you need to read terms and conditions. When I said it, I mean business. Because AI, for example, will give you a context. He expects you to apply it to your own peculiar context. He simulates results also. And I don't know how many of you have ever actually interrogated AI and asked, where are these answers coming from? Because virtually now, whatever you ask AI, it has answer. It can tell you your own birthday, and then you will know it can tell a lie. No, try it, put it. What's my birth date? Unless you have it properly fixed online, it will track it from the repository and give it to you. Where it cannot track it, because maybe access is restricted for it, then it will give you a range. And then you have a wrong age. As some of you are using AI age so that you don't retire. Let me RI is still very, very critical for us because it's with RI that AI was created. Did you get it? AI was created from real intelligence. In fact, even data treatment, AI is very interesting. But I've had to interrogate AI's treatment of data. I sent it and I saw that I had to be very, very careful. For example, now, there's something you know about Nasarawa State that AI does not know. So if it gives you results, you can say, no, 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 this is not close to what I know. And if you are going to take that result to His Excellency, right? And then he asks you to defend it based on our peculiarities, then you will see the distance between RI and AI because of what you have known. Are we together? So let me beg you, those of you that know AI, good, but do your best to develop your RI. And from the beginning, I was telling you that I want you to interrogate what we are discussing. Interrogate it. That is why I said I will put the information in front of you, what I want to say. If I was presenting to you on PowerPoint, right? I hope no would have been finished by now. We'll clap for ourselves and we are gone. I said, no, I want us to interrogate what we are saying. Check it for yourself so that you can have your disagreements. Is that all right? You can have your doubts created. Your doubts will enable you to, number one, develop your real intelligence. I don't always want you to believe everything I've said because what I said today may not be true for tomorrow because of different circumstances. That's how a scientist thinks. Our data man will tell you that the hypotheses are normally verified based on circumstances and situations. So, research is critical to all of us. I think I mentioned to you that since I became a professor in year 2020, between then and now, my research publications are more than what brought me to that year of being a professor. I get involved in what my students are doing so that I can learn new dimensions, treat new cases. Because if you don't if you don't do research directly or indirectly, let me tell you, your degree can become useless. I'm telling you. And of course, he knows that when it comes to research skills, it's not this kind of talk that brings about it. It has its own setup completely. How do you access research softwares that treat data and gives you result? How do you even collect data? Suppose one of the wonderful thing about health science is that you see they deal basically with primary data. And can I say to you, when you have to treat primary data, it's a different ball game altogether. Sorry, let me embarrass you small. He's the most difficult person you can deal with because he knows that you are telling lies when you are bringing him data. That's why we have not too many friends. His friends will be very few. That is the word. You cook it. Did you go there? Say yes, I went. Say okay. You say okay. When you went to this place, what did you see? Then we ask you, how do you measure what you saw? For example, human behavior. How do you measure human? How do you put it in figures? I was telling you, if you learn this, you see all that they are looking for outside, they will come to you because you are supposed to be the custodian of the skills required for the kind of data they are looking for. But you see, they keep asking for consultants. And when I was telling you that, you see, uh, they will call for the big men, and the big men will come and look for the small men to do it. So, research is not just about the college, it's about building your capacity to earn your own independent income while you are sharpening your skills at the same time. That when the quality of research is good enough, then when they put opportunities in place, you can apply directly. Or you can form a consortium from the college and say, we have capacity to do this. And it's likely going to trust you more because, number one, you are in academics, it's a day to day experience, you are sharpening yourself. And then the visibility was speaking about from those data that you've mined, you can process them, put conclusions on paper, they process it and it's published, and it puts you both national and global space. I know that yes, some of you are in Google Scholar, but it can be empty space. You can register for Google Scholar, then one, two, and the last paper I was there was 1998 because you have not updated it for some time. So with this, gentlemen, I've told you, you see, education is evolving on a daily basis. It may look too difficult for you, but I tell you, it's not as difficult as you are thinking. If we pull ourselves together, right? If we assist ourselves, if we speak like this continuously, and then we give you a hands-on trial, let's see. Even the project your students are doing can form a basis for a research paper. All you need to do is to guide the student very strongly, right? And then try to put it in public space. When you submit to somebody who will evaluate it, the evaluator will give you feedback. Once you correct it, as you have done, then you have a workable paper. I thought I should emphasize this because the outcome and the output of research is what leads to what we call scientific development. Because what you have checked, what you have tested by research, what you have proven one, two, three times, then it can become the basis for policies. It can become the basis for advancement. in nursing and midwifery services delivery, which is what we are trying to strengthen. So it's a key part of it. And I want to beg you, let's put it in the front burner. Huh? Research for you how to treat data. How do you mine data? This is very, very important for all of us. Is that all right? So that Dean, for example, when you retire, you can become a consultant to him who is still in the service. Do you get it? And you don't have to beg him, because once he knows that you have what it takes to give him what he wants, you're in business. He doesn't have to like you. What he's looking for is result. I thought we should emphasize this. Very critical in my mind, very special to me. So that even if you have degree, PhD, and the rest of it, and then your research output is little, before you know it, that degree will soon become obsolete. As I'm talking to you now, I have not less than 6 that will soon go to the press. What I mean is that they are passing through the hands of evaluators. And you know the funny thing, many who are younger than me are those who even do the evaluation. And they give me feedback, and I respond to them based on their evaluations. And you ask me, where do you get the time? I always conclude like this, sir. You will have time for what you want to have time for. Nobody has time. We all have 24 hours, Abi. So it is you that will decide that I will have time for this. I will not have time for that. So what is my proposal with respect to this? We should be able to come together and take a definite course of action that will give you a chance to learn and sharpen your skills as far as research is concerned. There are processes, and good enough, we have quite a number of resource persons around you that can enable us to do that. Huh? Are we together? Because there are many software that many of us do not know that are available that can give you, beside AI, that can give you a lot of assistance in your research processes. The other day I was telling him, I said, there are many people who are afraid. For example, how do you develop a survey instrument? How do you develop what we call the one you call questionnaire? The official name is survey instrument. How do you develop it? How do you know the right questions to ask? Then, when you ask, how do you test it? For example, now that I know this, my friend, once I have any survey that has to do with health issues, I will just send him to him from behind. Oh, yeah, validate this for me. He will check if my questions are correct. He will tell me if the response I will get are going to be reliable. And then when I'm talking like this somewhere, say, how did you validate? I say, I have an expert. And you don't know it's the man I'm talking about. That's all. So it may not be just only you struggling by yourself. That's why we are suffering. Huh? You don't have to suffer alone. What she knows can assist you. What he knows can assist you. Vice versa. Somebody took me through this process. I had to settle down to learn it. How to create instrument from nothing. Then how to treat what we call secondary data and the various processes they have to pass through for you to get the desired result that is verifiable. Yes.
Is it right to adopt an instrument? Let's say you're conducting a research in a particular area, and to say you want to initiate your own altogether, and you just feel there is one that is standardized. I want to adopt that. Is it right?
The answer is yes. There are standardized instruments along professional lines. For example, I also have a lot to do with research in aviation management. There are not less than 8 to 10 standardized instruments that are well known, approved. The only thing you will do is that you have to adopt. There are two cases: you can adapt and you can adopt. If you adopt, there are no changes. It then means you have the exact same similar circumstances and situations around you. But if they are not the exact situations, then you adapt. Adapt means you will modify to suit your own circumstances and context. But you will have to acknowledge that is that okay? This is the this is the instrument that I adapted. And when you face exam, I ask you, okay, tell us the what you adapted, what you changed, what you corrected, and why. Is that all right? Did you get it now, my brother? This is very important. Now you know one funny thing in university. Now, when you have access to a journal article, you know it doesn't give you the full context of methodology, the journal article, except you have a thesis or the text. So many students will say they have adapted a methodology from the journal that has just part information. The first I normally ask, I say, okay, if you adapted, means somebody has used it, okay, I want to see the context within which the person used it first so that I can understand your adaptations. Most students will just fold their hands like my senior here. They will just be looking at me. And I say, no, the process of adaptation is to show us what was done before, the context, and then how it differs from your own context. And then you indicate your adaptation, your modifications. Are we together? Then I also hinted you that this college must think very strongly as far as research is concerned. A domesticated journal to publish your efforts. Are we together? Why domesticated? So that you are the one evaluating yourself. Is that okay? And from them, you pick up skills, courage, and then you can then extend it further than your college. Are we together? Is it difficult? Why is my friend smiling? No, why are you smiling now? It's doable. And in fact, I would suggest you will be the chair. Yes, my sister.
Putting yourself within issues, I feel that is it possible for you really to critique your work?
Yeah. It's very possible. When I say yourself, I'm not saying that when you write, you are the one that will read it and comment on it. No, no. You see, all of us that have understood journal processes, you have editorial team. When they collect your work, they can send it outside for review and it will come back to them. Did you hear me, Uncle? Uh-huh. But the editor is going to be somebody around you for the first time. You know, we did that in one place. So the all those checkers talking about. So we raised the percentage first to encourage participation. Now, checkers like plagiarism checker, similarity checker, for example, the school can tell you, okay, we want 25% similarity. Now, let me explain that to you in real terms. You know, you have seen a work that is close to what you want to do, right? Then you copy it, then you paste it, and then you even reference it. Now, when the checker gets, he will highlight the entire context that you have copied and pasted, and he will show you the source, and he will tell you it is word for word. Then he can rate it and say this is 100%. It then means it is not your work. So when the school says, okay, 25%, it means you are allowed to have similarity from other works that can be rated as 25%. So we now say, okay, since we are starting, let's raise our own to 40%. They say it's too high. I say, no, 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 leave it like that. It will bring the awareness to all of them. The only thing we will not do, we're not going to put it online, that first publication, but to give you a tip of the iceberg. So that next time, we will now tell you this is the minimum allowed as far as academics is concerned. Then even that one that you have done before, you will find yourself now having the capacity to revisit it, which will make it a different document altogether. Then you can publish it somewhere else. Did you get it now? Huh? The AI content, more than 50% of the papers had 100% AI content. 100%. They just put the topic and ask the AI to generate a journal paper. That's what many people do. And when you read it, you'll be so happy if you don't know AI. So we say, okay, these works, they're looking too beautiful. Very interesting. Intelligent people say, okay, wait, bring us AI checker. We slotted in 100%, 100%, 100%. So we call them and say, okay, this is the report from AI that all this information is AI work, not you at all. The only thing here is your name. And I said, okay, let me advise you. Please rework it. Let's have a threshold of at least 60%. The other members of the editorial board said, no, 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 it's too much. I said, no, don't worry. Let's start from there first. They went and reworked it. Some were able to reduce their own for less than 40%. Some got that 50%. Others got 60%. Okay, publish it. This is a domestic journal. As we publish it, by the next edition, some had withdrawn even the earlier one they submitted because they now understood how to handle information from AI. Because it's not easy to rework AI. It means you want to be more perfect than perfect. That's a challenge. Because when you read it, you will just love it. You will just love it. Now, where you will be able to have the capacity, I see you have a reason why you develop your topic. That is why we say, talk about strategic thinking. What problem do you want to solve? It can be informed by the environment. It can be informed by counter. It can be informed by what you have read. Is that all right? Now, that's what will give you the capacity to start working on what the AI has said. There was one methodology argument I made. Half of the response, first of all, was from AI. I asked the AI to advise what are the dimensions to argue. The argument was that in aviation industry, they deal with what they call human factor errors. That they said 90% of the challenges you have in the aviation sector, the accidents, they are normally human factor based. They will tell you stress, lack of concentration. One of it I see, for example, if you have a pilot who quarreled with his wife. Now, there is one flight, MH371, that disappeared and they never saw it. Now, that pilot was discovered to have had a quarrel with his girlfriend who jilted him. And the man decided that everybody in that plane will die with him. Did you hear me? Because the girlfriend left him, he couldn't handle it. So everybody in that plane with him. MH370. If you Google her, you will see it. Yes. The one that left, is it India now? I can't remember very well. They said they thought it went to this place they call this Bermuda Triangle stuff. No, but it just went under the sea. Now, it was the girlfriend that later told the story. Now, do you get that now? Okay, now in the industry, when they are doing researches, they want to use all these heavy duty methods like what they call structural equations, right? Now, these are very strong tools of. If you use structural equation, it's going to give you a point of precision. Huh? What do you mean of precision? Exact point. He can tell you, okay, now, if you have this kind of entry and returning, that if you do this, that you can reduce your error by so much. So the structural equation tell me what comes from the human being. And I said, no. Which equation are you going to use to solve the problem between a boyfriend and a girlfriend? How will you determine the point of precision? How will you even know that the pilot, as he was walking to the plane, that he had been jilted when he has not told you? And I said to them, you see, this is a methodological error if you are using this kind of definite, precise response mechanisms. That human error is difficult to manage it. Number two, in some of these flights you enter, that pilot that is, that is flying you may have been flying for the past how many hours, whereas there are thresholds you rake in per day and then you go and rest. But because the airlines in Nigeria don't have the capacity to pay many pilots, yes, he flies you from Kano to Lagos, Lagos to Abuja, Abuja to Port Harcourt, Port Harcourt back to Abuja, Abuja then to Jaligo. Then he comes back to Abuja, then he goes to Sokoto on his way to Lagos now. He's stressed. You see, concentration for a pilot must be 100%. If you study aviation, you will be afraid for yourself anytime you enter plane. Because what separates you from death? I very kana hanu Allah gama ka. So we are now dealing with the methodological approaches. And I said there are certain methods you cannot use. Even though they give you precise answer, they look beautiful. So if you tell AI, he will give you all these structural equations that you can use. And I said, no, if AI gives you equation for finding out whether pilot quarrel with the or with the girlfriend, then how will you use it to assess? I said, no, you can't use that. We must go back to primary conversation. Ask the pilot directly. Sir, as you are climbing this plane, have you rested? Is your wife happy with you? That is a question to ask. Are you fully healthy or are you tired? If you are tired, what made you to be tired? Those are the questions. Not that you are measuring, that you want to use equation to measure how tired the pilot is. And I ask them, how will you approach when you see the pilot? So let me tell you in Hausa language what they call us. Mungu malemi. Why? You know why? That this question you're asking will not allow us to pass. Yes, I said no. You see, after nursing, the next is the aviation industry. Now I know they beg you before you finish you. At least this one you can be struggling. They say, let's fix line, let's check, let's check. Once you are up there, you look, you look now, you look now. Let me tell you, no matter how bold you are, I say kaya do. Sorry about it. I didn't try to joke with it, but I'm just telling you. So why am I bringing this dimension? It's because of this issue of AI. AI will suggest this beautiful methodology for you. I had to present a paper. We argued and discussed. I said, no, as good as AI is, you cannot use precision to determine human error. For example, nobody knows when you are going to get angry. And anger is a response to something. Abi? You see, as all of you are here now, if the chairman just declares, say, at the end of this retreat, we are going to give each of you 200,000. I hope you know your clapping will. Now, did you? Now, did you see your response? You hear the way it sounded in your ears. Even if you are angry, do you know that you'll just be smiling? So now, now you see, anger, laughter, they are all responses to stimuli, their emotions. And then you are bringing structural equation to measure it. Then you make the biggest mistake in your life. You have a beautiful presentation, beautiful submission, but the workability of it to create safety desired will become a problem. Now, this is what we are dealing with in research, is to encourage all of us. And when we collaborate, it will be better. Well, Mr. Chairman, how much time do you have? We are okay for today. So, thank you very much. Let's leave it there today. Unless you have questions, your contributions. Thank you.
All right, so we are going to do power clap for him. All right, hold on. We'll do power clap for him. If I say power, you clap once loudly. Okay, let me give you an instant. Power. Okay, that's how you do it. All right. So, Professor, you may please wish to stand. You may please wish to stand, Prof. Sir. Can you stand? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, power, power, power. One more time, power. You missed it. Power. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. We are so grateful for that which you have done so far. We are so grateful. You can sit down, sir. You can sit down. Thank you very, very much for your effort. I'll hand over to the provost now, who will give us a few words before the chairman close this meeting officially. Then you collect your lunch. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much, Isaac. Let me also lend my voice to that of Isaac and everyone in appreciating the lead consultant as well as his core facilitator for the well articulated engagement back to back all through. We are grateful to you for your expertise in bringing all of these modules down to our own level in a practical term. And then we assure you that we'll do our best to internalize all of the gains and learnings here beyond this place, and then ensure we're able to operationalize them as much as we can. Let me also thank the participants, my colleagues, for the active participation and for your concentration and cooperation. I must commend every one of you for the punctuality and all of that. And I would like to plead that we maintain this spirit even as we climax this retreat by tomorrow. None of us will regret participating in this retreat going forward. And like the saying goes, bottom pot, now in the sweet pass. So let's come with high expectations tomorrow, to enjoy that bottom pot delicacy. Yes, I know that that comes with some level of sacrifice from every one of us, given that our weekend and all of the social engagement for tomorrow will be forfeited, for this exercise. I plead that we shouldn't take that as too much for us to let go for the sake of this retreat. I'm optimistic that the bottom pot indeed will be better than the one we have had. Also want to say that this key take home that Atayin was able to spotlight during the recap session this morning, I took a particular notice of what he said stood out for him. The issue of report and or feedback mechanism. He pointed the issue of minutes and all of that. Yes, so when he mentioned that, I said, thank God I was asked not to say a word. I was going to plead to do a malpractice of what he said and all of that. So if you looked at that, there's whole lot as it relates to feedback. To my mind, that reminded us very clearly the issue about evidence-based nursing. You and I knows that evidence-based is like a song, Abi. We sing it, theoretically. And most time we forget that the evidence base in question is really, really looking at issues around documentations and dissemination of all of those documentations. And decisions, has to be evidence, based. It has to be data driven. Okay, so if there are no such mechanisms and all of that, we will not be making the right and enduring decisions. We'll be making decisions that will never be enduring, and will not be making decisions that will stand the test of time. Again, I want for us to underscore all of those things that are coming our way, and the kind of confessions that we begin to, bring forth. Let's hold on to such confession in real life. My colleague, Auntie Malti, was the one that, throw it the way it is. I say, Kai, you are not even polite. You know how she just throw it at us. I say, Muna kwaba. you know, you know. So a whole lot of confession and all. Well, so the good thing is that doesn't mean that we have failed. Instead, we have all learned to do it better. I mean it to say we're going to be doing it better. So as we end, I trust that God will have every one of us refresh. And then tomorrow we'll have a one session that wasn't captured before, courtesy the instruction from the governing council chairman. So we'll be having Dr. Denjuma Oyinaka Baba will be also bringing some perspective that will help, add value to this process. And so we'll have him feature also tomorrow. So come with high expectations. Tomorrow is going to be wow. Let me hear us say wow. All right. Thank you. Chairman, sir.
Thank you all. In fact, I never had these beautiful souls in School of Nursing. I'm so impressed the way we interact ourselves, joke, laugh, see ourselves as one. These are the kind of things where I came from, where I've worked before I retired. If any of us is sick, all of us are sick. If one is in trouble, all of us will make sure you pull that person out of that trouble. Seeing how we mingle with ourselves, in fact, I'm very, very happy. And I pray to Allah to allow it continue like that. And all of us will see ourselves as brothers and sisters. If something that I want to do is not going to be beneficial to us, may Allah make it beneficial to us. In fact, I'm very, very happy. I'm very grateful to God for this seminar. And I pray to Allah that it will continue like that. If I offend you, yes, maybe facially. But you don't know what is in his mind. You can approach that person and say, okay, this is what I felt about you, or this is what I felt you've done to me. He can apologize and move away from that something. Nobody is so perfect in life. It's only God that is perfect. If anybody offends you, Chairman, this is what you've done, I'm not happy. And I'll reply, if I know I've offended you, I'll tell you sorry. And if you're the one at fault, you tell me sorry. Life goes on. So I pray to Allah to keep us together. Thank you all. Expecting all of us tomorrow.
That our meeting is 8:30. Program starts 9 on the dot. Please, 1,000 for every late comer that goes to the union. The chairman has paid, though. Everybody will pay. Provost too has paid. So if you come late tomorrow, keep your money ready. Thank you very much and have a lovely night rest. Some people refuse to pay. Yes, Provost has paid, sir. He has paid. Provost has paid. So that Dean did not pay.